Managing your weight is a lifelong commitment, not just following a diet for a few weeks to drop kilograms. In today's video, we are going to talk about the best superfoods for weight loss and burning belly fat. Being overweight or obese increases our risk of many diseases. In Australia, around 75% of men and 60% of women are carrying too much body fat and 25% of children are overweight or obese. This means the incidence of obesity-related disorders, such as coronary heart disease and diabetes, is also on the rise. Losing weight has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's hard to go a day without seeing or hearing about the answer to or a miracle weight loss solution. The sensible answer to losing excess body fat is to make small healthy changes to your eating and exercise habits. These changes should be things that you can maintain as part of your lifestyle, that way you will lose weight and keep it off. Once you have made the decision to lose weight, it's a good idea to understand your current situation. What are your eating and exercise habits? A good way to do this is to split them into energy in, diet, and energy out, movement. What causes belly fat? Something else you need to watch out for is the diet pills and foods which promise to quickly reduce belly bloat. We get the appeal of why that is so desirable for women. Unlike the upper legs and butt, your tummy is one part of the body where curves are not preferred. The problem is that targeting stomach fat may not be possible. You have these two types in your abdomen. Subcutaneous fat. This is what's right under the surface of the skin, in front of your ab muscles. When you pinch your belly or grab and jiggle it, this is what you're feeling. Visceral fat. This is what likely makes up the bulk of the fat on your belly. It's not anywhere near the surface, but rather around your vital organs and behind your abdominal muscles. Visceral fat is the biggest problem for bulges. Both types contribute to the unsightly bulge, but visceral really adds to that protrusion you can't simply disguise with clothes. You need to know these factors. Alcohol consumption, even a little bit. The term beer belly is actually supported by science. How much alcohol you consume correlates with how much visceral fat you have. In both women and men, the more you drink, the bigger your abdomen becomes, and no, sadly we're not talking about bigger ab muscles here. That's according to a study conducted by the Department of Social and Preventive Medicine, University at Buffalo. The term abdominal height is rarely used outside the medical field. It's considered one of the best measurements of stomach fat. Basically, if you were flat on a table on your back, it is a measurement of how high above the table your belly button is. The study does not provide the cause, only the results. But what's interesting is that this visceral flub surrounds your abdominal organs and your liver is the biggest in the area. Could the alcohol be affecting the health of the liver, which then affects the fat that gathers around it? Or is the alcohol affecting hormone levels, similar to what pregnant women and postmenopausal experience? 5% may not seem like much, but that's easily a couple of pant sizes or dress size bigger. So don't let anyone ever tell you that red wine is a superfood because it clearly isn't when it comes to your waistline. Exercise affects your fat distribution. No, we're not talking about exercising to burn off fat. You already know that. The research suggests that overweight people, even when they remain so, will have less visceral and subcutaneous fat if they exercise. The higher the intensity, the less they had. Remember, we're not talking about exercise to lose weight, but rather just how it affects the distribution of the body. Postmenopause causes more in the midsection. A healthy diet of eating the right foods is even more important for women post-menopause. Why? Because the research suggests that you are more likely to have a higher proportion of visceral fat after menopause than before. Terrible news for women in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. You can't do spot reduction. If you do 200 sit-ups a day, will your belly become skinnier? Nope. The muscle may become stronger and therefore more noticeable, but the amount of fat in that area will remain the same. Countless studies have shown that spot loss is not possible. You can't make one area lose faster than another. Take the one conducted in Denmark, which was published in the American Journal of Physiology. Men did single leg extension exercises for 30-minute sessions. The fat burned came from everywhere in the body. Even though a tiny bit more came from the subcutaneous fat in the exercised leg, it didn't matter because afterward, the additional burned spot fat was replenished. Food may not affect fat distribution. Sure, there have been studies for certain foods and ingredients which might marginally impact how much ends up at the midsection. For example, trans fat may cause that. But ultimately the person still has to be overweight to some degree in the first place for that to occur. When we are overweight, all parts of our body gain weight. It's just that the midsection is the most noticeable. For example, let's say you got 10% heavier. Your arm getting 10% bigger in circumference may not be as noticeable, but when that same 10% happens to your tummy, it's super obvious and you're reminded of it on a daily basis. Your pants don't fit, your belly hangs over your waistline. It's not that you're getting fatter there instead of elsewhere, it's just that the waist is so freaking noticeable and a constant reminder to you. What does this all mean? Sellers of supplements and foods are clever people. They know literally every woman on earth obsesses over her weight, especially her midsection being that it's the most noticeable location. That is precisely the reason they describe them as foods for belly fat loss. They are not ingredients that help there instead of your arms, legs, feet, and neck. Rather, it just sounds better to include the tummy terminology when describing them. Baobab fruit extract. Based on ORAC values, it is one of the highest antioxidant substances on earth, 40% more than acai and nearly 30x higher than blueberries. Baobab contains more fiber than any other superfruit, over 50% of its content is fiber. When you're trying to drop those pounds, healthy fiber intake is important to help you feel full. The more satisfied you feel when eating, the less likely you are to keep eating. Apple cider vinegar. Although a more recent trend in the United States, reportedly in North African culture women have been using apple cider vinegar to achieve weight loss for generations and men are said to use it for purported rapid results before competitions. Despite being one of the most popular foods for dropping pounds, clinical trials have not been done to validate this claim. We are not making any claims about whether or not it works. All we know is that for us personally, we find that when we use it 30 to 60 minutes before a meal, we end up eating less. Green tea. This is not some flavor of the week fad. For a long time now, green tea has been studied for reportedly offering weight loss benefits and it does not appear to be caused by caffeine. According to the results from a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, it had a thermogenic effect on participants, boosting metabolism burn by 4% over a 24-hour period when compared to those on a placebo. Chia seeds. Chia is a controversial food. Many people claim that it's a superfood that encourages losing weight, but the research does not support that. There have not been many clinical studies so far, but for the ones that have been done, those consuming chia did not lose more weight than those who weren't. However, we still like chia because it is a very fiber-rich food and has more omega-3s than salmon based on an equal ounce versus ounce comparison. Purple sweet potatoes. You won't hear the Atkins diet crowd saying you should eat a potato because, gasp, they contain carbs. Well, newsflash. Carbs are actually needed in your diet for energy. Just like most nutrients, in moderation, they're healthy, in excess they're not. Chili peppers, in any form. Not everyone is a fan of spicy food, but if you are, there are actually health benefits of advantages of consuming them. As a spice, whether it's cayenne powder or plain black pepper, they're high in antioxidants. Apples. Not every dieting food needs to be coming from some far-off exotic destination like quinoa from South America or goji from China. We have many in our backyard, and while an apple may seem boring to you, it's an excellent food for dieting. Almonds. Like all nuts, almonds are not a low-calorie food. A small 1-ounce serving, about 23 whole almonds, comes in at 162 calories with 70% of those calories coming from fat. Many say you should shun foods like this when you're on a weight loss diet. In excess, we totally agree. But having a 1-ounce serving a few times per week may not be a bad idea based on the research. Ceylon cinnamon. A number of studies have suggested that cinnamon may have a positive impact on blood sugar levels. In fact, in one British study involving 7 healthy, non-diabetic males, it was shown that by supplementing with 2 teaspoons of cinnamon the night before an oral glucose tolerance test, the men could actually cheat the results when the test was performed the next morning. What do blood sugar levels have to do with shedding pounds? Because high levels can promote the accumulation of more body fat, since any blood sugar that is not burned for energy or stored as glycogen is converted into fatty deposits. Some have claimed cinnamon is food that fights the abdomen specifically, but we are not aware of any reputable studies which validate or suggest that. When you lose weight too quickly, you lose fat and muscle. Losing and maintaining weight is a lifelong commitment to a healthy lifestyle. Don't change everything at once. A few small tweaks to your diet and movement in the beginning can make a big difference. If you enjoyed this video, kindly press the like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss out on videos like this. Thank you for watching.